everybody, this is Elissa from Mank Arts and Crafts, and today we have the next iteration in our flower delivery comparison series. I know, super exciting. And today, guess what? We have two sections completed. So I'm super excited about that. I feel like it has taken me forever to get to the point where I could actually finish two sections in a time period for a video. Granted, I had one section completed and ready where I could have filmed the video for last week, and I sort of did. You guys got a sneak peek of that, of this section right here in my month in review video for October, because I finished it on October 31st. I finished the second section on whatever one I finished that month, that day. I stayed up late to finish that last section. I think it was over here on version 1. And then I started a couple days later, now that we're into November. What is this? This is, I'm filming this ahead of time because I want to get going, but I didn't want to keep going and you guys miss out on me talking a little bit about these sections. So I'm actually filming this on Monday. I know, I'm ahead of the curve. I'm not filming this at midnight on Thursday night to put up on Friday morning, which is normally what happens when I film these videos. But I want to get going on the next section because I'm actually feeling motivated to work on this. Whereas for the longest time, I have not been motivated to work on these kits, but now I feel like the end is finally in sight. So I feel like I can actually make progress, which is great, because normally I get to the end of a project and I get to the last little bit of a canvas and I kind of have that, I feel burnout for a canvas. But I don't know, I'm in these last few sections and I'm oh my gosh, I feel that push. I'm I can do this. I've got this. So I cruised through the last section off of this. So to give you the stats, so section number 10, which was, let me go back to version 1. Of course, we see Sushi. This is the little Sushi kitten, or as I call her, Chaos Kitten. This is Total Chaos Kitten right here. And you see my feet and slippers right here, because this way I can actually see what I'm doing and see where I'm pointing at the camera, and I don't have to strain awkwardly. Because it's tricky with how big these canvases are to get in where you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So we will go into the stats on section 10, and then I'll move into the stats. Sushi, come on. We don't need to walk across things. We'll go into the stats on section 10, and then we'll go into the stats on section 11. So that way you guys can do that, and then I'll talk about the areas in general back to back. So section 10 over here on version 1, which was this section right here, that section took me 2 hours and 55 minutes, which was really fast. That was actually the fastest of any section of the entire kit. Sushlit, Sushi, get off the... She's I'm just strolling, Mom. I don't care. She's a chaos, total chaos kitten. 2 hours and 55 minutes. That was faster than any other section on this entire canvas. So like I said, I was cruising through working on these last, last week and a half. I've been really cruising on these. And then section 10 over here, which was this section right here. Well, this one right here, because I did 4 already. So is this section right here. Granted, there was a lot of color blocking, confetti here. And then the rest of this has been color blocking. So section 10 right there. That section took me 5 hours and 20 minutes, which was a little bit longer than some of the other sections. Didn't take me nearly as short of a time as it did over here. But when I was working on section 10 on this one, I was watching a really good Amazon Prime series. So I would keep getting distracted because I'm oh my gosh, I need to watch what's going on. So I kept getting distracted as I was watching that, as I'm trying to diamond paint, because I'm I need to watch. And I'm no, I need to diamond paint. I need to watch. And I was kind of going back and forth. So those, I kind of got through those ones, finished on October 31st for those 2 sections. And then I started on Sushlit. Seriously? She's I'm strolling, Mom. I don't care. They don't really, Devon Rexes don't really shed, so I don't have to worry about the cat fuzz all over my canvases. So that's a plus. But I'm I can't really get her out of there because then I'll be in the way. All right. And then section 11, so that's the section that you see right here. I can't point at it because normally, because if I'm pointing with my own eyesight, that it would be there. So I have to point in the camera, which is why I have to stand like this. So section 11 right here, This section was a lot more confetti because you had the confetti of here, and then you have the confetti of the broom and the flowers on the broom. This section took me 3 hours and 20 minutes on version 1. And then the corresponding section on version 2, again, I was very distracted. I was working on that section. That corresponding, and I did that one on Saturday. And then Sunday, I worked on section 11 over here on version 2. So this section right here, again, less confetti on the larger one than it was over here on the smaller one. This section, I breezed through pretty quickly. That one took me 4 hours and 55 minutes. And I did that one on Sunday. And then I'm filming this today on Monday, and it'll go up for you guys on Friday. And of course, Chaos Kitten is doing crazy things. So looking at them, as kind of like a trend all throughout, you can see it's really coming together. You have a much, much clearer picture over here, and you can see that larger size gives us a significantly clearer picture. Also, now that you kind of step back and see, the colors over here on this left side give us like a deeper, richer color, and they're a lot softer over here on this right side. Just the colors in general seem a lot softer on version 1 than they do over here on version 2. Kind of similar to when I talked about over here on Kiki and what they did on version 2 on Kiki over here. I noticed the same thing over on around the base of the broom. It's kind of hard to tell looking at it from this up high picture right now. But when you look at it closely, you can tell that they have a lot of like the 310. I'll see if I can kind of bring us in a little bit here so you guys can see that a little bit better. So now we're kind of focused in a little bit more specifically on this region that I focused on for version 2 and then version 1. So you can see there's a lot of 310 right around, outlining a lot of this broom right there, which they did the same thing all around different aspects of Kiki right over on that side, which you won't be able to see right now. And then if we look at Kiki over here, there's very, very little 310 around the broom. There's a tiny bit right around in here, which you kind of needed to stand out with the darker blues in this background, but really very little to no 310 in this section at all, whereas there was a ton over here outlining different aspects of this broom. Similar kind of feel as far as the style, but again, like a similar look, of course, as we're looking at it, and kind of similar mentionings of what I've said all along. When we look at these two sections right here, and then seeing those two sections over here, you can see that, again, colors are completely different. Like looking at the background of the building and the window, completely different colors between the two that you can see here and right here. I love the lines and like how clear it really looks like you're looking at a window over here. You can tell you're looking at a window on this side, but it doesn't come through and read as well as the building does over here on this left side. And of course, because it's a much larger kit, it's not nearly as much like standard straight through confetti. There's a lot more of like little spots where you're doing multiple drills together versus over here, it was a lot of just confetti, confetti, confetti in this portion for the wisteria coming down along the side. So that's something that was a definite difference between the two. I do like the part that seems to have a lot of similarities between them is actually the flowers coming off of the broom. You can see right here, it looks very, very similar. The flowers here, the flowers there, same thing, flowers here, flowers there. I feel like that has held very true between the two. Very similar colors, only slight differences between the colors, and the rendering seems pretty close between the two. Some slight differences, but as far as how it looks, that's probably the closest is those flowers. Completely different colors in the rendering of the broom between the two. When you look at it closely, there's a lot more, there are more shades of brown in the broom here than you have in the broom right here. And that's definitely a difference between the two. So Sushi made it up on top of my bookshelf, which I've been trying to avoid her climbing up on the bookshelf. So we'll have to come grab the Chaos Kitten off of my bookshelf. Chaos Kitten, that's become her nickname, Chaos Kitten. Total Chaos Kitten. So anyways, we will kind of zoom back out into that full picture look again. So you guys can see that and see our overall view right here. So this is kind of what it looks like. We're down to just these 3 sections to go, which is a lot of that wisteria. We finally get to do the cat. I'm excited to do the cat. And then of course more of that wisteria. There's going to be a lot more color blocking, especially on these 3 sections right here. These 3 sections are going to be so much color blocking over here. And then there's a ton of color blocking even on the smaller one over here. That's got a lot of color blocking as well. So I'm really excited to get into those 3. They're going to go significantly faster. The purples look like they have a lot of confetti just from a distance, but when you actually look at them up close, they really don't. Not even over on this side. It's not as much confetti as you would think. Nowhere near what the confetti was down in this region right here. This is where the bulk of the confetti was. And the big one was nowhere near this. It's like when you look at it, it seems like, oh, that's going to be so intimidating. There's 80 something colors and there's so much confetti, but when you actually look at it close up, the confetti is not intimidating on this one. It's the size that's intimidating on this canvas. It's over here. This one is the one that has the bulk of the confetti because it's smaller. And in order to have the detail in something that's this size, you have to have more confetti to give you that same detail. Versus over here, you can have less confetti because it's larger and you're going to get more detail just in general from that larger image. So anyways, that's kind of my thoughts. Like looking at them back like this, it's like obviously you can see there's so much detail. I love the crispness that we're seeing over here on this one. Love, love, love that crispness. But I love the colors and kind of like that softness of the colors on this rendering over here. There's certain things on the rendering that I love more on version 2, but there's aspects of this rendering that I love on version 1. And I feel like this one is just too big. At least for me, this one is too big. And I feel like there could have been like a happy medium between the 2 sizes so far. And that's kind of like my thought process as I'm going through it is there's aspects of the rendering here that I'd like, they could have kept this, a very similar rendering to this, gone a little bit bigger, but not quite to this size and kind of like, well, yeah, that's kind of my thought process so far of my thoughts working on these 2. But again, I'm somebody that I like the pixely look, so I don't mind I'm doing pixel art, so I like that pixely look of everything. So I usually am like, okay, I'll do something small. But anyways, that's my thoughts on these last 2 sections, sections 10 and 11, and hopefully we will see. My goal is for our next video, I would like to have all 3 sections finished for you guys for our next video. So that gives me, this is Monday, so that gives me until a week and a half, like next Friday, so that gives me like 10 days to knock out and crush these last 6 sections. So we'll see if I can do this for you guys and really push to finish these 2 and finish out this series for you guys. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend for this Veterans Day weekend coming up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.